Another contemporary writer, author of the time of Barani and Amir Khosru was Isami. His book is called Futuh Salatin. The title of the book gives its meaning. Salatin means sultanate. Futuh means march of victory. He writes right from the beginning, from the time of Mahmud of Ghazni. Isami wrote his entire history book in verse. He lived in the court of the Bahmani ruler in the south, but he came from the north, from Delhi region, because his grandfather, father, his uncle, his great uncle, they all served the sultanate. And as such, Isami's account of Muhammad bin Tughlaq's different experiments, like his transfer of capital to Daulatabad, or his experiments in the Doab region, agricultural and revenue experiments, or his attempt to introduce a token currency, all these had been described by Isami in a very bitter manner. He would point out that all these were done because the Sultan was not in his senses. He was, in fact, a kind of whimsical ruler, and he did whatever, whenever he liked. We have two more authors, major authors, historians of this time writing on the Sultanate period. One is Hindu Qasim Ali Ferista. He wrote a book called Tariq-i-Firista. It was probably written at a later date, in the probably in the 15th century. And the other book is by Yahya bin Ahmad Sarhindi. His book is called Tariq-i-Mubarak Shahi. Tariq-i-Mubarak Shahi gives us an account of Taimur's invasion and the plunder and the ravages that he carried out in Delhi in 1398. We get this account from Sarhindi's book, Tariq-i-Mubarak Shahi. I should mention a trend amongst the historians who wrote these tariqs and tabakats. They would name their books after the sultans in whose time they finished their work. That was actually the custom. For example, Minhaj named his book Tabakat-i-Nasiri. Who was this Nasir? Meaning the history of Nasir. Nasir-i meaning of Nasir. This Nasir was Nasiruddin Mahmud, a son of Iltutmish, who ruled up to 1266 when he died and Balban took over. Minhaj followed the custom of the time. The custom of the time was to name the book after the Sultan in whose time he had finished, and he finished his writings in the time of Nasiruddin Mahmud. Hence, Tabakat-i-Nasiri. Similarly, Ziauddin Barani named his book Tariq-i-Firoshahi, though he started from the time of Balban. He did not live in the time of Balban. He was a very young contemporary of Alauddin Khalji. He was a more adult and mature contemporary of Qutubuddin Mubarak Shah, Alauddin's son, of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and Firoz Shah Tughlaq. This huge book was finished in the time of Firoz Shah, so he called it Tariq-i-Firoshahi. Coming to other source materials, written sources, we can refer the Malfuzats, written Malfuzats. The most important Malfuzat of the time was Khairul Majlis. This particular Malfuzat was about Nasiruddin Chiraghi Dehli, the famous Chisti Sufi saint who lived in Delhi in the time of Alauddin Khalji and was a very close friend of Alauddin. Just before Alauddin introduced his famous price control system, he was in some doubts about the whole project, and he was in conversation with Nasiruddin Chiragh. Now, these conversations were put down in writing a little later by one of his disciples called Hamid Kalandhari, and called it Khair ul Majlis. Majlis, as you know, meaning meeting,